Example 3. Find length A. So we're trying to find the side here of the triangle, the side BC, or you could call it side A. We have two sides and an included angle, so we use the cosine rule. The cosine rule is a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos A. We label our triangle. So if this is capital A, this is lowercase a. If this is capital B, this is lowercase b. If this is capital C, this is lowercase c. We sub into our formula, so a squared stays as it is because that's what we're trying to find. Alternatively, you could call this x, and this would be x squared. B squared is 9 squared, plus c squared will be plus 14 squared, minus 2, and then we have a set of brackets, and into the brackets we put b, which is 9. And then we have another set of brackets, and into the brackets we put c, which is 14. And then we stick on cos 76. So cos A becomes cos 76 degrees. So then we bring down the a squared, and we can put everything on the right-hand side straight into the calculator because there's no variables. So there's no letters on the right-hand side. So cos is not a variable, it's not a letter. So we can just put everything on the right-hand side into the calculator, and it gives us 216.0356. So 4 decimal places is enough. So to solve for a, to get the a in its own, the squared comes over and becomes square root. And into the calculator, the square root of 216.0356 is 14.6981. So that side A, that of the triangle, or the length BC, is 14.6981. I wasn't told what to round it off to, so I'm just going to decide to round it off to 1 decimal place. So the first decimal place becomes a rounding digit. The next decimal place becomes a telling digit. So the 9 tells the 6 to round up. So we get A is approximately equal to 14.7 units. Example 4. Find angle C. So we have a non-right angle triangle, and we're trying to find an unknown angle. So we can either use the sine rule or the cosine rule. If you were to try the sine rule, you would realize that it doesn't work. You don't have enough information for it to work. So we would then try the cosine rule. So the cosine rule can always be used if you have 3 sides. So you know the lengths of the 3 sides, and then you're trying to find an angle. The cosine rule can always be used then. So we're given all 3 sides, so we use the cosine rule, which is a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos A. So we need to relabel the angle you are looking for as capital A. So we were asked to find angle C, but we need to relabel this as capital A because in our formula, the only capital letter is A, and the capital letters represent the angles. So the only capital letter we have is capital A. So we need to relabel the angle we're looking for as capital A. So if this is capital A, then side opposite it, the side that is 8 units, will be lowercase a. And then it doesn't matter what way you label the others. So I'm going to call this side here lowercase b and this side here lowercase c. So a squared is 8 squared. So the side here labeled as a is 8. So the a squared becomes 8 squared. That's equal to b squared, which is 5 squared, plus c squared, which is 12 squared, minus 2 times b. So b is 5, so 5 goes in the brackets. And then c, we put brackets, and into the brackets we put 12. And that's stuck onto cos A. And cos A is the angle that we're looking for. So angle A is what we're looking for, so it stays as cos A. So then we simplify. So 8 squared is 64. Then 5 squared is 25. Plus 12 squared is 144. Minus 2 times 5 times 12. We get minus 120. And we stick on cos A. So then we simplify. So the 25 and 144 will come over the equal sign. So we have 64 minus 25 minus 144 is equal to minus 120 cos A. So 64 minus 25 minus 144 is minus 105. So that's equal to minus 120 cos A. We want to get cos A on its own. So we have to divide by the number stuck on in front, which is minus 120. But what we do to the right, we do to the left. What we do to the left, we do to the right. So we divide both sides by minus 120. So on the right-hand side, the minus 120 divided by minus 120 technically gives you 1. Anything divided by itself is 1. So really that cancels out. So you're left with cos A on its own. And minus 105 divided by minus 120 is 7 over 8. Because a minus divided by minus is a plus. And 105 divided by 120 gives us 7 over 8. So we've 7 over 8 is equal to cos A. And when we do not know the angle, we use the inverse. So we have cos to the power minus 1. So in your calculator, you press shift and cos. A bracket will open. You press the fraction button, put 7 over 8 into your calculator, and then close the bracket. And you'll get 28.9550 to 4 decimal places, which rounds off to approximately 29 degrees. So the angle that we're looking for is 29 degrees. Another way you can work this out is to rearrange the formula first. I personally think it's easier with the way I've just shown you, but this is an option as well. So here's the cosine rule, the original cosine rule from the formula book. And if we move the b squared and the c squared over to the equal sign, they become minus b squared and minus c squared. And that's still equal to minus 2bc cos A. And then if we divide both sides by minus 2bc to get the cos A on its own, these will cancel because anything divided by itself is 1. So you get cos A on its own. So we have a squared minus b squared minus c squared all over minus 2bc is equal to cos A. Or you can switch it around the other way. So cos A is equal to a squared minus b squared minus c squared all over minus 2bc. So then we sub into the formula. So we get cos A equals 8 squared minus 5 squared minus 12 squared all over minus 2 times 5 times 12. So cos A again is equal to 7 over 8. So we press shift again and cos to get the inverse, and we get the same answer. So I personally think this is harder, rearranging the formula. I would go with the way I did it in the first part of the example, but it's up to you what method you use. So either way, your answer still rounds off to 29 degrees. So just a couple of rules for trigonometry. When solving a triangle, we generally try to use the sine rule first. If the sine rule cannot be used, we then use the cosine rule. And if the cosine of an angle in a triangle is negative, the angle will lie between 90 degrees and 180 degrees. Compass directions. The diagram on the right shows some compass directions. Compass directions begin with N for north or S for south, and then a given number of degrees, east or west. So this, you will know this from geography. So our compass is like a plus sign. So we have north at the top, south at the bottom, east to the right, and west to the left. So for example, this angle here would be known as N 60 degrees E, which stands for north 60 degrees east. This angle here would be known as N 30W, which stands for north 30 degrees west. This angle down here would be known as S 48 degrees W, which stands for south 48 degrees west. And this angle here would be known as S 35 degrees E, which stands for south 35 degrees east.